Time for the Week 10 NFL recap. As always, for BTO Media, I'm Kevin Bunk, joined by Michael Merlo. Big slate today. We have a lot of great 1 o'clock games to go through. Started out in Berlin this morning. First week after the trade deadline, so we got that Sauce Gardner debut this morning for Indianapolis. A lot of different stuff to unpack. We wanted to start at 7:15 because these 4 o'clock games stink, and we don't want to run too late into Sunday Night Football with a bunch of different stuff to touch on. So, Mike, Berlin game this morning, your takeaways.
Yeah, almost a tough watch at times. Penix looks very uncomfortable throwing the football. I mean, I've never seen somebody with, he's got a decent arm, right? He could sling it. I've never seen somebody look more uncomfortable throwing the football, especially towards the sidelines there, like Michael Penix does. But obviously, this was the Jonathan Taylor game. Unbelievable day. Obviously, we'll get to him more in depth, but we talked about it last week. This team goes as Taylor goes, and he did not play well against Pittsburgh, had a bad game against the Steelers, and look what happens. They get upset. Now today, probably the best game of the year for him, 244 rushing yards, and they're able to squeak one out in overtime.
Jonathan Taylor's having a better season this year than Saquon did last year. It's that great, and we're already at a point where in Week 10, he has 2 more touchdowns than Barkley scored in 2024. Obviously, the yards for Saquon were huge, but Taylor's not far behind than where Saquon was. So there's a real MVP case here to be made, and there's a real all-time historic running back season going on where he's going to get close to LT's 31 touchdowns if they keep up this pace. If he has 2 or 3 more games like this where he can go for 200-plus yards and multiple touchdowns, there's a serious MVP conversation for a running back that we haven't had in a few years, and I just am blown away. There were points in this game, though, where he wasn't rolling. And I think he had a couple really big chunk plays and obviously the massive touchdown. But there were points in the middle of this game that he wasn't rolling, and the offense did look a little stagnant. So they'll go as far as Taylor goes. We know that. And when it comes playoff time, this is the guy they need because I don't know if I trust Daniel Jones with what I've seen the last 2 weeks for the Colts to be able to win without Taylor carrying the offense.
And we know what happens with running backs, especially late in the year. I mean, you've seen guys go on runs, but for the most part, if you're relying on this one guy and you don't have full faith in your quarterback there, you're probably not going on a deep playoff run. You have to be able to throw the football. And I agree, Jones has not looked great the past couple of weeks now. Starting to see a little bit of that old Daniel Jones, but was able to do enough today and not make the big mistakes to cost them the game. He had the bloody, he was bleeding in his mouth. He looked like he had lipstick on. Not a good scene for him, but they're able to get the win. Taylor, it's funny. He's going to be the offensive player of the year, but if Puka doesn't get hurt there and miss a couple of games, Puka would have been in the race. JSN is having an historic season for a wide receiver, and he's going to be in the race. But it kind of feels like this is going to be Taylor's award to win as long as he doesn't go on a prolonged slump here. What a race, though, for Offensive Player of the Year. Just crazy seasons from 2 and really 3 big-time offensive players.
Totally is. I don't want to go down this path too much, but Sauce had some moments today. I thought overall still a good game. I'm not going to sit here and I'm going to give the same sentiment I really gave him after most of the Jets games where he has a couple moments that he's going to get picked on for, but overall it's a good game for a cornerback. It's just not what he was his rookie year, sophomore year. But he can't catch. Sauce Gardner cannot catch the ball. And he had another interception opportunity near sideline that should have been picked off, and it wasn't. And it's just a weird trait with him where he can't catch the ball. And there's a video of him from warmups having a routine catch in the end zone, and he looks uncomfortable catching a 6-foot pass from like an assistant coach.
You remember you played Madden, right? And the corner would drop a...
I thought about this morning.
Yeah, it was like that one year the corner would I haven't played Madden in years. The corner would drop a pass and they'd say, "Oh, that's why he plays corner and not receiver." But it really is true for him. It's fascinating how he can't catch the football.
And he got toasted on that. London. I know he tripped.
London
smoked him.
London's great. And he made him his you-know-what there.
Yeah, he did. He absolutely did. All right, we got to bounce to Saints-Panthers.
Wait, 1 second. Are you you were on the Colts train? We know this. You were getting there at least.
Yeah, and I was one of the first guys to tell you this year back in the first week of August that this was going to be a competitive team. I put that video out. I said they could be a division winner, and people absolutely mocked me. So I've been a Colts guy for a while.
They're absolutely going to win the division, no question about it.
Yeah,
and they're probably going to be a top 3 seed. how much faith do you have in them currently? And I'm not even saying get to the Super Bowl. I'm saying
stunned if they won a game. I'd be stunned
if they won a game in the postseason.
They won a playoff game. I really think, and I stand by what I said in my video from yesterday, if the Colts get into the AFC playoffs and the picture is the way we all think it's going to be, they're the 6th or 7th best team.
Okay.
Because you're going to tell me that we're sitting there the first week of January or the second week of January and we're saying, yeah, Colts are going to beat the Chiefs. Yeah, Colts are definitely going to beat the Bills. Those are the wild card teams this year, and the Chargers are probably going to be the last one because the Jaguars lost today. And maybe Baltimore finds a way in. None of those teams am I sitting there on that Saturday or Sunday saying Indianapolis has this, the second round's where it's going to get tough for them.
No, I completely agree with you. We're in the same spot. And like even Denver, who is just terrible offensively, so bad, I trust them more than I trust Indianapolis because that defense is still legit.
Absolutely, I do. So it's a good point there. Let's jump to Saints-Panthers. I'm putting Tyler Shuck on franchise quarterback watch. One game.
God.
It's one game, so I'm putting him on watch. I'm not saying he is one. Second round pick. A lot of smart people loved him at the draft. I wasn't one of them, but I'm not a smart person. And I watched him today, and I said he did a lot of things really well, and he did a nice job putting the Saints in positions to win that football game today. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Tyler Shuck is the guy and that he's this great talent and that the Saints are saved. But we have to now watch for it and actually keep a close eye on this guy, especially because this is a team that's going to be picking in the top 5 of the draft, and they might not be sold on the idea that the quarterback they have right now is not the guy for them.
Well, we have to see who declares, obviously, and where they land to even consider the fact that Shuck gets another year next season to prove himself that he is the guy. Obviously, that 27 class looks like it's going to be the real quarterback class. But I was the biggest Tyler Shuck fan in the world today. I was on the Saints plus 5.5, and I can't get there yet. I mean, it's one game. You want to keep an eye.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Like, it's an advisory. It's not a winter storm warning. It's an advisory. It may be coming. We have to look.
Watch out for it. Just watch out for it.
I'll keep a little bit closer of an eye than I normally would on the Saints now that you said that. But I'm not there. He's 26 years old, this guy. Obviously, long time in college, kind of like me. So we'll see. I'm not there.
You know, I love looking at upcoming schedules when it comes to the Sunday recap. I'd be stunned if the Saints were even picking high because they play home against Atlanta. Then they play Miami. Tampa Bay's their only game of the year against the team above 500 the rest of the season on December 7th. Panthers, Jets, Titans, Falcons are the final 4 of the season.
Wow. That's going to decide a lot for the draft as well, though, those games slate.
It is. I'd be shocked, too. I know they're going to buy if the Titans won another game. They're so bad. They're so bad.
They're picking a quarterback.
They might be picking a quarterback. Another day we'll talk about what Cam Ward's value is because that's a really interesting conversation, too, about Tennessee. But bad loss for Carolina on the flip side of this game.
Bryce not good today. It's just he can't put him together. It's not like he was great against Green Bay, but he can't even get it going here against a division opponent. You're 5-point favorites at home. This should have been a game to build off of a massive upset win against that Green Bay team in Green Bay. This should have been something to build on, and maybe you're saying, hey, maybe we could make the playoffs. Who the hell knows? And no, it's a fake 5-5. It was a fake 5-4, and terrible.
Yeah, they're really bad, Carolina. They're not even that they're really bad. You just can't trust this team. You can't trust the quarterback. And if Dowdle's not going for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns, the offense seemingly has nothing.
Dowdle could play, though. It's shocking. I mean, they draft Brooks and they pay Chuba, and now Dowdle is a player here for them. He's a real player for them.
Think about now, a year ago, Dowdle in that Cowboys running room that couldn't generate anything, and you almost feel like maybe they were sitting on this hidden gem that they just couldn't unlock.
And like they unlocked something in Javonte here, though he hasn't been great the past few weeks, but something unlocked for Javonte, but 100%, they must be kicking themselves sitting there saying, what the hell did we have in this guy? We didn't even realize it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to your boys in blue, the Giants and Bears. Giants blow the 10-point lead. This has to be it for Brian Daboll. He has done a terrible job with this team. They've blown now 4 10-point fourth quarter leads on the road this year. All 4 of those games have been losses. And I don't really care if Jackson Dart looks good. I don't believe you bring in Brian Daboll to develop a young quarterback. You bring in Brian Daboll to be your head coach to win football games. And now that you actually have a quarterback playing well and you're not winning football games, it's even more alarming to me. There are more red flags, and I would not keep this guy around for week 11. I really can't justify it anymore.
Yeah, I'm refreshing Twitter to see every minute now to see whether or not they actually make the move tonight or tomorrow. I would expect it to be tomorrow, but Kevin, they invent ways to lose late, and that's on the head coach. That right there is on the head coach. And I don't care that he's not the defensive play caller. The head coach leads everybody. It's his building. It's his culture. Everything revolves around him. And by the way, you had Russ, and I saw this from, I think it was Connor Hughes. Russ was your starter all summer long. Russ was your starter coming into the year. I understand Dart is a legitimate player here. I'm not saying he's not. But it shouldn't be that massive of a drop-off when Russell Wilson comes into the game, and this is exactly what Hughes pointed out. And all they did was talk about how good Russ looked and how Russ was the leader of this team. And when Russ comes in, it looks like he's never played quarterback in his life. It is so freaking frustrating that this team, again and again, can't close out games. Their defensive scheme is awful. Their defense is a joke. They can't tackle. And late in the game offensively, again, I know Dart wasn't in, but we saw it against Denver anyway. When Dart was in, they couldn't move the football. They couldn't close games. And right there, that's the offense. You want to blame somebody? Let's blame Daboll. Right there.
And not for nothing, I know that you're not in this category, but the Giants have almost been regarded in this really positive light this year because of Dart and Scadaboo. They're worse than the Jets. They're worse than the Browns. They're as bad as the Saints. This is one of the worst teams in the league. I mean, this is a joke that they're 2-8. It's an absolute joke. So the people defending Brian Daboll, you're totally out of line.
And I know their defensive line really hasn't suffered major injuries. Like they're all healthy, but the secondary has. But and I know the secondary is like depleted and they weren't good. We obviously know this coming in. They weren't great either way. They're bad on defense. They're a bad defensive team.
They're terrible.
I think they said on the broadcast today that they're the second most expensive defense in the league.
Yeah, and when you think about the guys who aren't getting paid are high draft picks. So Carter, obviously they get paid the first round salary and the top 10 salary, but Carter and Thibodeau are high draft picks. Mm-hmm. And you have guys like Deonte Banks, who premium picks were used on, Tyler Nubin. Like, these are premium top 2 round draft picks, top 10 draft picks that just do not change the game.
Spent a ton of money on Holland. He's been hurt, and what has he done? He hasn't changed anything. Nubin, like you mentioned, second or third round pick there. Nothing.
Third round pick, and he's been solid, but
Flott's actually improved.
But I'm not. The fact that out of the collection of picks that this regime has made, the best guys are they've improved, they've become playable starters. That's not good.
I can't do this either with the Shane and keep Shane, fire Daboll. I can't do this. They both have to go. They could both go tomorrow for all I care. You cannot just fire the coaching staff. It has to be a full-blown change here.
I was having this debate with a few friends that are Giants fans, and we were just saying the job's attractiveness level with and without Shane, if Daboll's getting fired regardless, is a world of difference. If you fire him, both of them, they're all gone. Any coach will take this job because of Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
If you don't fire Joe Shane and you're not lining these up, I would not take this job. And I love Jackson Dart.
Dart is the number one. It would be one of the most attractive jobs, if not the most attractive job on the market.
It would be if Shane was gone.
Shane's gone. The defensive players frustrate the hell out of me. I do think part of it is the scheme that they're playing in. I think they're overrated. But you don't think you can get some defensive wizard to come in here and say, I'm pumped up to have Abdul Carter and Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence if he's here and Kayvon Thibodeau if he's here next year. You don't think you're going to have a defensive coach absolutely fired up to have those guys in the room with Malik Neighbors and Cam Scadaboo on the offensive side? And obviously, Dart, you have your left tackle, might have your right tackle too in Illuminor. I mean, it is one of the most attractive jobs on the market if there's no shame.
I know you're not allowed to go here, but I would think Belichick would do a great job here. I know that it's not a feasible conversation here in 2025.
I can't do it.
But I think Belichick would do a phenomenal 4 or 5 year job.
This is the third time this has come up this weekend. I can't do it. I think
he would do a great job.
Can't deal with that, girlfriend. I don't know if you're serious or not.
I'm totally serious. I think he would come in. You'd have automatically a top 5 defense because nobody coaches secondary like Bill Belichick does. He's the greatest secondary and linebackers coach in the history of the NFL. The defense would be great. If he came into an interview, I'd ask him 2 questions. Who's your offensive coordinator?
And are you done with the girlfriend?
No, I don't even care about the girlfriend.
Who's
your offensive coordinator? And can I hire another GM? You could even pick the GM, but I don't want you running personnel. And if he agrees to both of those, which I think he would, because I don't think that he has much leverage over NFL teams right now, I'd say you're hired. You're in. The only guy I'd probably go after first is Mike McCarthy.
I would love McCarthy. I'm a Mike McCarthy fan. I would go after McCarthy. I'd also call Lane Kiffin and see if he wants to leave the South over there.
I would not call Lane Kiffin, but
I would call Lane Kiffin. I'd call Kiffin. I don't think he leaves, so I think it's kind of a useless call, but I think you have to make the call. McCarthy, I would love. I think McCarthy, and I don't obviously know off the top of my head who the top choices are going to be. It has to be an offensive coach for me. Has to be an offensive coach.
So it can't be.
I don't want Belichick.
I think there's a real scenario where Halfley, the DC from Green Bay, is going into a job with Mike McDaniels as OC next year.
Then I could live with that. But the only issue is I hate the fact that McDaniel, he does a great job here for 2 years. They're in the playoffs,
he's not
in their
getting
second year.
If he gets fired this year.
I think he's getting another job. He might not get fired here. I'm not convinced he's getting fired here.
All right, well, we'll save that for later in the show because I have some stuff about it.
Okay.
But Bears needed to win this game. It was a must-win for them. They get it done.
6-3.
6-3. Looks good. Looks like not same old Bears, even though it wasn't pretty. But good for Chicago getting the win. Stunner of the day for me. Stunner of the day is Houston winning this game. Because of Davis Mills playing, because of the way it went for the first 3 quarters, I cannot believe that Houston won this game, but I can believe that Jacksonville blew it.
Yeah, I have to save a lot for Jacksonville for this overreaction I was hyping Kevin up for. But this team is just, they're another team that just invents ways to lose. And the Texans, man, what a second half. We talked about how great this defense was the last 2 weeks. Terrible, not great. I won't say terrible, but not great. They had a couple of turnovers there, which led to quick points for Jacksonville, but not a great first half. Come back in the second half and shut them out. Unbelievable in the fourth quarter. Shut them out. Unbelievable comeback. We turned this game off. We turned this game off the quad box. We had to put it back on late. We're like, holy crap, this is a game. Mills, good for him. Big win. Texans, kind of still fighting here. They're in the hunt. They're at 4-5, maybe getting Stroud back. Maybe this isn't going to be the disaster season you and I both thought it was going to be after starting, 0-3. So yeah. Texans kind of fighting their way back here, and the Jaguars are an absolute mess, and I will save the Jaguars and their pretty boy quarterback for my overreaction.
Real quick rip through the Texans' schedule. It's a little bit of an up and down one, but you get Tennessee, you get Indianapolis twice, Buffalo, Kansas City, Chargers, Raiders, and Arizona. So it's a tough one, but you do have a few easy wins in there. Presumably you win with Tennessee, with Arizona, and you probably split with Houston. With Indianapolis.
I would agree they split with Indianapolis, and if you could win all those games that you're supposed to, right, and then maybe squeak out a win, maybe the second Colts game is a win, you might find yourself in the hunt at least in the AFC playoff picture late.
All right, I want to save on this game because of the Jacksonville overreactions that you hinted at, and I actually think that if you have one that I was talking about this weekend, it'll be a fun conversation. If you don't, it'll be an add to the conversation. So Buffalo, Miami, you want to talk about stunners? This was one. Dolphins absolutely killed the Bills. This was never even a game that the Bills seemed like they were going to win and come back in 30-13 final. Miami's weird. I have some overreaction stuff with the Dolphins, but Buffalo, like, I'm totally out on this team as a Super Bowl contender. I never loved them, and they lost the division today. The Bills absolutely lost the division with this loss to Miami because New England continues to run away with this. You have to go to New England to play them again. I don't guarantee that as a win. Terrible loss for the Bills.
Terrible loss for the Bills. 100%. The division kind of feels like, I said last week that the Patriots are in the driver's seat. 1,000%. The seatbelt is on, and they are cruising at 80 down some turnpike. This is a big, big loss for this Bills team. I'm not going to give up on them yet as a Super Bowl team just because I don't know how much I trust New England in a playoff game just yet. We obviously talked about Denver and the Colts, who are two teams that are probably going to win the division. Don't know how much I trust them in a playoff game as well. So I'm going to hold off on saying that the Bills are out of my Super Bowl, serious Super Bowl contender, but it's not looking great. They have a lot of issues, and it's getting late here. It's certainly getting late, and they're going to have to fix some of these to get back on track and become that Super Bowl favorite like they were early this season.
I'm going to riff off some AFC playoff teams and where they would play them. You let me know if the Bills would be a favorite in the game. Okay. At Indianapolis.
They're a favorite.
At Denver.
They're a favorite.
At New England. Say New England. Say they beat New England by 3 points at New England later in the year, but they end up losing one more game anyways.
I'm trying to think if they are a favorite, right? Like if they were playing next week, would they be a favorite?
I think New England would get like a point and a half in a home playoff game.
I think the opposite. I think the Bills would probably be a 1 to 2 point favorites in Buffalo, in New England.
At Pittsburgh.
Oh, they're more than 7.
How many? You think more so, right?
7, yeah. Ravens, interesting. Ravens, I don't know. I think
the last 3 teams I was going to give you were at Chargers versus Chiefs versus Ravens.
They are...
Say they're at Baltimore, because I think at Baltimore would be the path to them getting in the playoffs is winning the division.
At Baltimore, they're probably 1.5 point dogs, 2.5 point dogs. Because I think the Vegas is starting to, and a lot of people are starting to realize this, not just Vegas, they're starting to value them the way they did early in the year. Yeah. They're getting healthier. Lamar looks better and healthier. They're starting to get that same value that they were at the beginning. So I think 2.5 to 3, they'd be favored, Baltimore. Kansas City, they are 3. What were they? They're probably 3 point dogs because they were just 2.5 point dogs at home against Kansas City.
Yeah.
And then the Chargers, that's
I think Bills get probably 2.5 there.
Yeah, 1.5, 2.5.
All right. That was Bills. Dolphins. We'll have some more on that in the overreactions. Ravens, Vikings, segue right into it with Baltimore. They get a win. They move to 4-5. That's 2 straight now for the Ravens, or 3 straight now for the Ravens. And they're starting to creep back into the playoff picture here. Bad loss for Minnesota. I can go either way on this. I don't have anything in overreactions. What do you want?
I want to start with Minnesota. Obviously very concerned. I mean, when you see the play, when you see the level that Sam Darnold is currently playing at right now, and you look at the weapons that he has there outside of JSN, it's a good offensive line, not great. The tight end room's The rest of that wide receiver room's kind of Just Shaheed's a big ad though. This might be an all-time fumble, an all-time collapse by this Minnesota team to let Sam Darnold walk out of the building. I know it's early. I know it's tough to judge JJ right now, but he really doesn't look good. He doesn't look like an NFL starting quarterback. He played okay against Detroit in the upset win. Today, though, not great. Holds the ball too long, missing receivers, missing open receivers. I'm very concerned here, and we talked about it as a joke a week or two ago, how KOC starting to hear some things, not only from the outside, but the inside about letting Darnold walk and go into JJ. I wonder if this becomes a bigger story when they miss the playoffs and it's not a good year for JJ, if he doesn't finish the year strong.
Situations like these interest me because what if Kevin O'Connell is in a bad place with the front office and a couple of the key players in the locker room? It's not working out for him, right? This is just hypothetical. I don't think this is actually the case. Yeah. But at the end of the year, if he's not a fan of JJ, what if he just leaves and says, I don't want to be here. The relationships are getting sour and I want to go coach someone has the first pick and he
Jackson
likes the
Dart.
quarterback and he says, I mean, honestly though, like that's one of those situations. Like they have a quarterback that I like, that I think I can mold, or, the Browns have the first pick and I think they got a great defense and I love the quarterback that I'm going to be able to draft. So I'm just going to go get a new job, because you're easily going to get a new job with 3 or 4 years of runway.
Yeah.
If you're Kevin O'Connell. So I think that's a potential conversation that he has.
The GM, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name, but he's a smart guy. They're obviously feel like they're in lockstep there. I wonder whose call it actually was and how much influence, because again, the last 2 years, all this guy was being praised by both of us. I had him as a top 4, top 3 coach in the NFL heading into this, I think 3rd best head coach in the NFL coming into this season. Crazy praise for him. Who made that call? Whose call is that actually? And were they in lockstep? I think that's going to be the major question, because if they were in lockstep on JJ and this is our guy in the draft, and then out of the draft, out after that year from Darnold, like whose call was it? And who had the major influence there? That's the question we need to know.
And I think their process was so fascinating this offseason, where they let Darnold walk out the door. And I'm playing Monday quarterback right now, but guy had 4,300 yards, 35 touchdowns last year, and he had the second best record in the NFL. You couldn't imagine your quarterback position was going to get better this year. And none of us thought it was. But maybe next year, the year after, it gets to that elite level again. But they didn't do anything with Darnold's money to then replace his production offensively. Their only offensive add is Jordan Mason.
Right.
And he's your backup running back. So when you add 2 defensive tackles, and that's where your money goes in the offseason, I question how ignorant you were to the amount of production you were losing from the quarterback position last season. And I might have been ignorant to it also if I was in their situation. So it's tough to say right now, but they look really bad. They look really bad for this move.
We knew coming into the year, I was confident in their weapons. I was confident in their offensive line. I like their defense a lot. I love Brian Flores, one of the best defensive coordinators today. Like he's probably going to be a head coach next year or in 2 years. Like I didn't question their personnel coming into this season. I think Darnold just elevated everybody all season long, and we missed that.
And they had to have been in that position where they were like, we just had this level of production with Kirk Cousins. We just had this level of production with Sam Darnold. We could have this level of production with JJ McCarthy. And obviously they were wrong, at least for this year, because they're not getting nearly that much. It's a tough look for Minnesota. And my only real concern with them long-term off of this would be, how do Jefferson and Addison and Hawkinson and the offensive linemen and everyone who probably loved Darnold feel about going from Super Bowl contender with him and only getting 1 year of that to now you're in kind of a retool season and a retool spot where you might be a 500 team, but I don't even think they're going to be.
They look bad today. That offense did not look good today. And I understand Ravens are healthy, but
you see JJ's number 9 thing?
No, what's that about?
This week he did this interview and he said when it's game day, he turns into 9 and it's like a different beast. 9 comes out.
Yeah, well, 9 came out for the Ravens today. That was not good.
Jefferson's the Ravens was Justin Tucker.
Pissed. True. Jefferson's got to be pissed.
I'd be so pissed.
Oh my God.
I'm pissed because I'm in fantasy.
He had 12 targets today too. He had 4 catches.
McCarthy just doesn't look good. He just doesn't look good.
It's not good.
Simply doesn't look good. Other side of this, Ravens, didn't they win the division, or
they're going to win this division?
I think so too.
No doubt about it. No doubt.
I hope they do, because I do not want to see the Unk Steelers in round 1 of the playoffs.
I can't say. I saw this today. I saw this on Thursday. You were just lined up for that Steelers Broncos Saturday playoff game. We cannot. I won't watch that. I'm done.
No, it wouldn't even be that. It would be. You know what's funny too is the 2 seed. Not to take a total turn right here off this conversation, but the 2 seeds reward this season is going to be the Chiefs.
Fire for that 2 seed. Fire.
Like if you're a Denver fan who's just been tortured, you're like, oh man, we went 13-4 and we got the 2 seed. Who do we get in the first round? Hopefully the Jaguars? No, the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Good luck.
Yeah, have fun with that. Good season, guys. Or the Colts, like that's the lock right now in my mind. Is we get Colts Chiefs round 1 and the Chiefs just absolutely
It's like a
whip
3 touchdown win.
Yeah,
for
just
Kansas City.
I mean, like it's the 12 o'clock Saturday game or the 2 o'clock Saturday game that first weekend, and we're sitting there at 2:15. Like, when does the next game start?
Are we in lockstep that they're going to the Super Bowl?
No, I'm not. I'm not there.
Who's going to the Super Bowl?
I don't know yet, but I think that
right now, gun to your head, who's representing the AFC in the Super Bowl?
If the bracket sits like this, no one's playing better than the Patriots.
Look at you, locked it on me.
I hate to say it.
Look at you, locked it on me.
Hate to say it, no one's playing better than New England.
Okay.
Until Thursday.
Right.
Let's move on because Thursday night's big game is between the two games we're talking about next. Browns, Jets. Jets get the win here. They win 2 in a row. And I'll just take this moment for the first time all year to give Aaron Glenn some credit. Aaron Glenn has obviously not had this incredible first year as a head coach, but he's changing the narrative a little bit for me in this last 5 weeks. They're 2-2. Their 2 losses are by 1 score. They lost to Denver and Carolina. No pushover there, as much as we don't like Carolina. But they're the least penalized team in the NFL over the last 5 weeks. That's a huge coaching nod to Glenn. I mean, that's a total coaching thing. And you've just picked up a win after a trade deadline where you got rid of your 2 most beloved foundational defensive players, and then you benched Quincy Williams this week, and it was like the weirdest thing. And your team still came out after all of that and got a win for you today. I thought it really showed a lot about the Jets and just at the bare minimum, how they feel about the coach.
Well, I think a lot of I think the moves they made this week really showed how they feel about the coach, right?
Yeah.
Because you're tying Muji and you're tying Glenn together here. And Ian Rappaport wrote an article about this last night or today, talking about that. And I fully believe that. And that's got to feel good as a Jet fan, that at least you feel like there's some continuity between the head coach and the general manager, and that the players that are going to be here, the few that will be here in the future, truly enjoy the coach they're playing for. We had conversations about whether Glenn was one and done, and I never was fully there, and I'm very happy I never got there. I think he's going to be a home run kind of coach for this organization. I think he works for this organization. I think he will work for them. So I agree with what you said. Now, the quarterback is,
terrible.
6 for 11, 64 yards.
I mean, they won a game today that they could not even move the ball at all offensively.
54 yards, excuse me, passing. I've never seen a stat line like
54 yards passing, and 45 of them are Breece Hall's screen touchdown.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. What a job from the defense. Obviously, the 2 special team touchdowns. Mm-hmm. Big day for the Jets. Let's go.
And I have some
Browns back.
I have some Brown stuff in overreaction, so I won't even go to that side of this. But the Jets could finish the year strong. They play 2 tough games coming up on the road at New England and then Baltimore. I'd imagine they go 0-2 there. But you want to see them put up a little bit of a fight, and then they get light for a few weeks. Falcons, Dolphins, Jaguars, Saints. So you could finish strong in that portion. Finish the year with the Patriots and Bills.
Can we go with Tyrod here this week? I feel good about them pulling off the upset with Tyrod. I can't do it with Fields.
Because, I think Fields is horrible. But if Tyrod's better than him, it's not by much. So I don't even... Doesn't really matter to me that much anymore.
Okay.
I think that, unfortunately, the Jets are just not playing to Fields' running ability. I think I'm not going to be one of those. If you turn him into Lamar, he's going to be finally the guy that he's supposed to be. But, I mean, you have Fields. You should not be trying to run this elaborate passing game every week that they have been trying to do all year. And it looks great on film after. You're like, oh, all these guys are wide open. But you don't have the quarterback for that.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
Get the quarterback. Get Mendy here.
Yeah, Jets have won 2 straight. I think this is the first time they've won on a bye week in 10 years. After a bye week.
Wow.
Yeah, which is like a real crippling Jets thing forever, is they cannot win after the bye. But
it's eye-open.
Yeah, it's Glenn. It's Aaron Glenn football. All right, next game, we have Patriots Bucks. This was the test for New England. The Patriots shut up everybody again. They show us, obviously, they could beat a good team. They now have wins on the road against Tampa Bay and Buffalo. if you were out on New England before today, it's the final straw. The nail's in the coffin. This is a Super Bowl contender. They're 8-2. They're tied for the best record in the AFC. And right now, when it comes to the AFC playoff landscape, nobody's playing better than the Patriots. And if they did end up in the Super Bowl after what I've seen today, I wouldn't be surprised. Awesome breakout from the young guys. May looked great until a disaster interception late in the game that almost cost him, but the defense comes through after. Vrabel just has him locked in right now. Easy Coach of the Year candidate. Just a really, really dominant season so far from New England, and basically 2-score win today against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, so I'm going to save a lot of what I have for the Bucs for the overreaction. We'll go to New England, though, 100%. I was one of these people that thought the Bucs were going to win this game off of a bye, getting a little healthier here. Obviously wasn't the case. New England shut everybody up. They shut me up. And I wasn't this non-believer. I just thought this was going to be a tough game for them going on the road. And Drake May, that ball to Mac Hollins. Yep. I mean, he is so freaking good. And Vrabel, for all the issues late that a lot of people wanted to ignore in Tennessee, he's completely shutting them up and truly being this, I guess, unifier. And he's getting the most. Him and McDaniels are getting the most out of a roster that just isn't that great. It's not a great roster. We know it's not. They're getting a lot out of it.
And, organizational stability obviously is highlighted here for Vrabel in New England because since he left Tennessee, they're on their second GM and their second head coach. Since he got fired 2 years ago. Not even.
That's fascinating.
I'm on the record multiple times saying there's no worse run organization in football than the Titans, maybe not in sports right now. Not even the Jets, not even the Browns, not even the Bengals.
Cardinals?
It's Tennessee, not even the Cardinals. It's Tennessee because they are firing somebody every single year, and firing Vrabel, obviously, is a mistake.
Bad move. They should have gave him the control. They should have gave him the power. And I think he basically runs that organization in New England as well, at least has a lot to say in terms of personnel. It's what he wanted in Tennessee and couldn't get. May's great. Was this the breakout game for Henderson here? Is he going to be the guy now?
Feels like it was. The biggest surprise for me with New England this year is the ability to create big plays offensively. You saw it from Henderson. You saw it from Williams. Finally had his breakout moment too. That receiver, really talented day 2 pick. And Mac Hollins with the deep ball. But it's May's ability to facilitate that deep ball. And now you finally started to get it on the ground, which is where they were not able to get it this year, was running the ball with Stevenson and with Gibson. You weren't able to get those long plays. Now Henderson seems to have provided that. Short week. I'd imagine he's the workhorse against the Jets on Thursday.
And you look at it with these receivers coming into the year, and we did not like the room at all. But you talk about the big plays, Pop Douglas, Butte's had big time plays for them, big time scores.
And Diggs has had some big plays too.
He has too. That great catch at the back of the end zone today. So, that's how when it's guys you've never heard of, like this Williams guy. It's when you don't know these guys and they're making big plays. That's how May is truly the real deal.
Yeah, and they just are firing on all cylinders. Talk about it more, obviously, throughout the week at prime time.
Secondary is good.
Yep.
They're good.
They are. And they're great up front. They still haven't allowed – I didn't check today, actually, but they're the best rushing defense in the NFL, and they still haven't allowed a runner to go for over 50 yards unless it happened today against Tampa.
Tucker at 53. Wow.
Okay, yeah. So just got there.
Tough.
All right. Quick hit on this game. Cardinals, Seahawks. Seattle absolutely kills them. I think the Seahawks are probably the best team in the league right now. They just play all 3 phases as well as anybody. Arizona's a complete mess. Do you think they go back to Kyler?
No, because he's on the IR.
That's the whole other thing is he actually might not even be healthy.
Is he hurt? Is he not? I don't know. But no, I think you got to give him the few weeks here that you have. And if it really starts to look poor or worse than this, then you go back to him when he's healthy. But no, I wouldn't move off him just yet. You ran into a really good team. JSN, best receiver in football this year. Big win.
And with 8 weeks left to go, Seattle poised to try and make a run at that 1 seed in the NFC next week. 4:05 at SoFi. to play the Rams.
It's got to be the 425 game of the week. What are we
They got to switch it in there. They have to try.
What is it? What is it supposed to be? Let's see.
Yeah, you pull
check
it up
right now.
But it's the game of the year.
That's the game of the year in the NFC. I mean, that's my
for me in the whole league. That's my matchup that I've been waiting for is Seahawks Rams.
That's my overreaction, like those two teams. So I'll save it. But like, yeah, that's the best game of the year. Yeah. All right. 425 is pretty good next week.
What is it?
It's on CBS. Obviously, the Hawks Rams is on Fox. It's gonna be Broncos Chiefs in Denver. So
all right, but I'd rather watch the other one.
I mean, I'd rather watch the other one too, but nationally, that's the one.
No, I disagree.
More people, if you put those two games
of the Chiefs,
that's fine. You put those games on and rival them, which they basically will be. But you gave them the same audience. You put both national 425 same time. The Chiefs are getting more.
Until halftime, when the Chiefs game sucks and the Rams and Seahawks, Chiefs game goes one of two ways. Kansas City blows them out and has one of those weeks, or neither team scores more than 17 points. And the Rams-Seahawks game goes one way. 52-50, 2-minute warning. Darnold's getting the ball back down by 2. And it's the greatest game in NFL history.
It's going to be a good... I'm pumped. I'm pumped.
Me too. All right, that's enough on Cardinals.
But we know what gets more ratings there. Come on, the T-Swizzle effect. Come on.
I disagree with something that I know is true. That's what I'm doing right now.
That's fine. I agree with you. It's the better game. I'm not disagreeing.
The diehard football fan wants that game.
Exactly.
The casual fantasy football Sunday fan that doesn't really care too much about a team wants the other game. And
Just like I prefer the NFC AFC Championship game weekend than the Super Bowl weekend.
Oh, yeah, well, I prefer the division round weekend even more.
Okay.
That's how diehard I am.
I like the other one better.
Rams, Niners, Stafford, dude. Stafford. Best quarterback in the league. It's not even close. That's why when I hear the Drake May MVP stuff and the Jonathan Taylor MVP stuff, totally deserving, totally warranted. Neither of them would even get a half-second consideration for my vote because Matt Stafford's that great this year.
Yeah, you kind of put it in my head a little bit last week, like MVP. And I kind of floated the idea around to some people, like, is he not at least top 3? You want to go May? Fine, I'd probably vote for May. But Stafford's in the top 3. I don't think it's any question. He's probably 2 for me. That's how good of a year he's having. And you can't just say that it's the wide receivers and the offense that he's playing. And he makes these guys look so great. Sure, Puka's as talented as ever. And Devontae still got it. And they're a great duo right now. Devontae and Stafford look great together. But, like, they're just playing so well, so together. And it's because of Stafford.
I'm just doing quickly the math on what he's on pace for this season. So give me 1 second.
Yep.
Because he's really having one of those Aaron Rodgers MVP seasons where the efficiency, touchdown to interceptions, just off the charts.
Right.
Pacing. So right now he's on pace for 47 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
Jesus.
That's one of the greatest seasons of all time. I think that the best touchdown to interception ratio season ever is Brady's 28-2 when he won MVP in 2016. So Stafford would literally be there with twice the touchdowns.
Yeah.
If he keeps this up. That's what we're dealing with here.
Do you think he's going to get it, or you think it's going to be May as long as he continues to play?
No, I think Stafford would get it if this keeps up, because I don't see it slowing down. That's just how well run the Rams offense is.
He wins MVP. They go to the Super Bowl. They win it. He retires first. Easy first ballot Hall of Famer.
So he keeps this up, but let's say he goes 45-5. So he misses the touchdowns by 2, and he misses the interception. He goes 1 over on the pace. Yeah. May keeps up his season, but Stafford leads the league in touchdowns, has the best touchdown to interception, and he's like 5th in yards.
Yeah.
They're going to look at those two schedules. What Matthew Stafford did in the NFC West versus what Drake May did, and they're going to give it to Stafford. And I also think the narratives play into Stafford's role with the voters, because this is the late 30s swan song type of MVP season that he deserves, and Drake May is going to be around for a little while. This was just his coming out party.
And also think about all the concern that a lot of people had around the league about Stafford and the back coming into this season.
Yep.
You know, they almost scared me off the Super Bowl pick for them. Thank God it didn't. And look what he's doing. You don't even think about it. Now, obviously, one hit could change that, but you don't even think about the fact that he was dealing with injuries heading into this season, and they didn't even know if he's going to play week 1.
Who would be your NFC Super Bowl pick right now?
Rams, but let's hold off overreactions.
Can you rank the top 3 for me? Or no? Hold off.
Rams, Seahawks, Eagles.
Okay, because I would do it and just flip Eagles, Seahawks, but easy top 3, I think, forming in the NFC. Let's jump to Lions, Commanders, quick hit on it. That's just a win. The Lions have to have. Commanders are dead.
They're so bad. I mean, are we going to have conversations about this regime, or are they going to get a pass because Daniels is banged up?
When we
This
get to the
team is awful.
When we get to the end of the year, if they're 4-13 and Cliff Kingsbury's going to leave, do you have to make a decision? Honestly, I don't know. I genuinely don't know because I don't like Kingsbury that much either.
But how much is it on Quinn here that this front office did such a terrible job constructing the roster heading into this year? How much is it on him?
Awful job. And I mean, Commanders fans were so excited because they were bringing in like Von Miller. I mean, come on.
So bad. This team they're unwatchable. They are
terrible.
Unwatchable.
Especially now with Daniels out.
No offensive weapons. Debo Samuel's getting people excited. I mean, is this a shock that he's washed up? Is it a shock that he's done? Jesus Christ.
How many times have I had this conversation with you, particularly about offensive linemen in the offseason? But when a guy like Kyle Shanahan is ready to dump his premier playmaker of the last 5 years, and he looks on the field fat and washed, maybe stay away and just go in a different direction.
Or if you're going to bring him in, at least have him be the 3rd or 4th guy.
Because now he's the one. He's been basically the one now.
Well, Terry hasn't played. We had to pay Terry. Terry didn't practice. Terry gets paid. He doesn't play, and he stinks. So, I mean, I was always a fan. I was always on the train that Terry McLaurin was overrated, and I wouldn't have paid him.
And now you're looking at that division. If you're Washington and you're saying, we might, I know this is crazy. We might have the 4th best quarterback.
Say it.
We might. I wouldn't say it yet.
Not yet.
The negative pessimist fan is saying we might have the 4th best quarterback. The Eagles are the best team in the league every year. The Cowboys are better than us in a down year. And we're 1 win better than the atrocity in New York, who once again might have a better quarterback than us.
Let's paint this picture for Washington. Dak Prescott's easily the best quarterback in the division. Will be here for at least 3 or 4 more years playing at this level.
You don't think Hurts is the best quarterback in that division?
No, Prescott 100%.
I'm not going to argue it. I'm a big Dak guy.
The Eagles have the best general manager in sports in the world and will continue to have loaded rosters. And the Giants are going to fire everybody, be the most attractive job opening for any head coaching candidate with a star quarterback now running at the helm. And we're sitting here with the defense that we have and the coach that we have. There's a chance they have the 4th worst coach. Well, no, nobody's worse than Schottenheimer. So I'll
that's the one. I was thinking that for a second too. That's the one saving grace for them.
They're not the worst coach in the league.
Quinn is absolutely better than Schottenheimer.
He's the 2nd best coach in the division.
And then whoever the Giants inevitably bring in.
Yeah. Mike McCarthy. I might be getting on the Mike McCarthy train.
Get on the Mike McCarthy train.
I might get on it.
Give me your overreactions.
All right, this is the one that I was kind of like almost spoiled. You have 2 teams right now in the league that are playing better than everybody. It's not even close for me. Like the top 3 teams in the league currently for me would be the Rams 1, Seahawks 2, and it's very close. And we're obviously going to get an answer this upcoming week. Very close. And then the Patriots would be 3, Eagles 4.
Wow.
But the gap between the Patriots and then the Seahawks there, it's a large gap right now with the way they're playing. I am that high on those 2 teams. Those are no question about it. Those will be the teams. One of them will represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. No doubt about it with the way they have been playing offensively, defensively. And if the Rams have figured out this kicking situation, bringing in the fat guy today, I mean, they're really going to be scary.
Thicker the kicker
here.
The Rams feel like the team for me that it's just the chips are falling into place. And there's a long way to go, but I do not think the Eagles can beat them a third straight time. They beat them in that playoff game, which was close. I think it was a 4-point game. 28-24 was the final. Then they beat them on the blocked kick this year, a game that the Rams were a kick away from winning. I can't see it happening again, especially if they have to go to LA for it. It's going to be tough for Philly or for LA to win in Philly again if they have to do that. But that's why 1 seed matters so much for these teams. It was Philadelphia and then Green Bay, who I'm not going to get too high about, but those home field advantages for these dome teams. And then Seattle's home field advantage, massive, massive home field advantage.
I trust the Rams going to Philly.
I trust the Rams going anywhere.
Yeah,
if the season ends today, I'm easily picking them to go to the Super Bowl, and I'm not thinking about it.
I don't care where the game is. I like the Rams.
All right, my lowest level overreaction today. Lowest level. I'm coming a little weak with the overreactions today. I can't lie.
Wait till
Shedeur has to start because Dylan Gabriel absolutely sucks. I hate to say it, man, because I'm trying to support Gabriel through an offseason where I feel like he got dragged through the mud so unnecessarily. And he's a really good college quarterback. Seems like a great kid. Sucks. Absolutely terrible. And Shedeur Sanders has to be sitting on that bench watching him play. And you're just like, gosh, I got to get a shot this year. I got to get a shot. And Spiro Ditas and Adam Archuleta are doing the game. And they're trying to be so nice about it in the third quarter. It's a rainy, crappy day at MetLife. And Gabriel throws 5 or 6 passes out of 8 that are not even close to wide open receivers. And Adam Archuleta is just that's the 4th ball that he hasn't even thrown in the catch radius of open players. And it's just so bad. It's so bad watching them. I'm so glad I don't have to watch them again this year. I'm so glad.
Yeah, he's, when you draft him, when he was drafted, you kind of thought, okay, maybe this guy could be a serviceable backup. And they're going to be selecting a quarterback in the next 2 years here, at least. The future quarterback's not on the roster, and you could give Shedeur a shot and see if he can become a serviceable backup for you or somebody else that wants to take a chance on him. But I would agree. I don't know if it's time yet, but Shedeur has to play. He has to play at some point this year, and you do have to see what you have. They're going to draft a quarterback. None of these guys are going to make you think twice about it.
And I don't think Shedeur is going to come in and we're going to be like, okay, the Browns have an offense now.
No, absolutely not.
I don't think that. He might be worse than Gabriel.
Their defense is so good.
Defense is great. That's why I think if they got the first pick, I would look at that job and I'd say, I know it's the Browns, but I really like the idea of getting the first pick quarterback into that team.
Yeah,
because the defense is there.
Weapons. They have a ton of picks. Obviously, the Jaguars there, that trade for Hunter, they have picks. They're doing things the right way. They just don't have the quarterback. Their owner got involved.
Hold on for a second, and I have to pause everything. The Rams have the Falcons pick in the draft this year because the Falcons had to trade up to get James Pierce Jr. in last year's draft. And now Atlanta is awful, and the Rams at 7-2 are going to be picking top 7 this year in this draft because Terry Fontenot, or whatever the hell his name is, in the front office there, had to get James Pierce Jr. after already taking an edge rusher in Jalen Walker. He had to go get another one that nobody wanted. So he gave the Rams his first-round pick this year. Oh, my God.
I remember when that trade was made and sitting there saying, oh, my God, there's no way the Giants are trading up to get a quarterback. If that's the price to go up to get a pass
It's
rusher.
not the price. They just have to have the Falcons call them.
Giants traded a second-round pick next year or something to go up and get their franchise quarterback, and they traded first-round pick. It's going to be a top 10 pick.
First-round pick to get a rotational edge rusher with serious off-the-field
They all got to
concerns.
go, right? They all got to go. No, everybody there.
The problem that whole franchise has right now is the GM's got to go, the coach has to go, and the freaking quarterback has to go.
Which quarterback? The one making
All
$40 million
all of them.
year? Or the guy
Oh
they
my
drafted
God.
at 6?
It's like a $70 million quarterback room of absolute garbage. All right, you go with your next overreaction.
The Bucks are overrated. I'm out on the Bucks. I understand they're banged up. They're a little fraudy. Baker, for the first few weeks there, was everybody's darling, played like an MVP. No longer the case the last 3 or 4 weeks. And to me, there are 4 teams that are basically in a different class in the NFC than them. That would be the Lions, Eagles, Rams, Seahawks. And I don't know if they're better than the Packers. I don't think so. The Packers are a weird team to get a read on, but I don't think they're better than the Packers. But there are 4 teams, no doubt, better than them.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that right now, too, I'd go Seattle, Philly, Green Bay, Los Angeles, Detroit. And I don't know, man. If they got like San Francisco healthy in a playoff game, I don't love it. Chicago wouldn't beat Tampa, I don't think. But yeah, I agree with your take. I think very overrated.
Also, not to rush you, but my computer's on 4%.
Yeah, it's fine. We're about to wrap up anyways.
Last overreaction.
Unfortunately for you, my second overreaction, I think Abdul Carter's been a huge disappointment, and I think he could be a very good player, but he's got Trayvon Walker written all over him for me, where it's 7-8 sacks a year, but you're never that elite pass rusher. You're just a great disruptor, and you're more of a pressures guy. He's not finishing. This entire defensive line's been incredibly disappointing, but Abdul Carter right now does not feel like the advertised sack artist that we got this offseason.
I don't think he's being used. There were a few times today noticing him getting dropped in coverage. I'm not out on him yet. I need to see him next season with another defensive player.
And I think he's for sure a really good player because I think Trayvon Walker is too. But yeah. I just think you're not getting the player we thought statistically.
That's fine.
Right, your last overreaction.
My last overreaction is one of the crazier ones we've ever done. I couldn't have been a bigger fan of this guy out of college. Thought no doubt about it. This was the next Peyton Manning. This was the next, give me a John Elway, big college quarterback, big high school quarterback. I thought Trevor Lawrence was going to be the it guy in this league to compare to Josh Allen, to compare to Patrick Mahomes. Trevor Lawrence is the biggest bust in NFL history. In NFL history. His hype from college got him a $250 million contract he can't even live up to. Somebody actually paid him this money. A passer rating of 84.4 in his career. Obviously messed up early with Urban Meyer as the head coach here. Coaching has been an issue with him. But for me, with the money they've given him, the hype out of high school, the hype out of college, the hype into the NFL, the biggest bust in NFL history, Trevor Lawrence.
I think that the word bust is the wrong word. I think biggest disappointment, most underwhelming, maybe I can get there. Bust might be the wrong word, though, because he still does have a playoff win. He's had some good seasons already for them, especially his second year. But yeah, I'm out on him as a franchise quarterback. And what I was alluding to earlier is I think that he's the veteran quarterback that could get traded this offseason. But the problem is, for them, they don't have their first-round pick, so it's tough to maneuver to get another quarterback in here quick enough. But I think that he's a guy that teams are going to be calling for. And like a team like the Jets are going to say, hey, what's the availability on Lawrence
Would somebody offer a first-round pick knowing you have to take on that contract?
I think somebody would offer 1 first-round pick.
1.
And then you're also looking at a team that's going to want a first-round pick in this draft or in 2027's draft, and they're going to definitely think about it. Because Cohen might come in and just say, like, this is not a quarterback I can work with because his offense doesn't look good.
Could the Jets justify that? All right, here's the Colts first here and the Colts next year.
Depends where you're picking with your picks, but that's basically trading Sauce Gardner for Trevor Lawrence 1-for-1, which is a legitimate conversation 3 weeks ago if that was on the table.
Okay.
All right, my last overreaction, we'll keep it brief. Mike McDaniel keeps his job. I was really alarmed that he didn't get fired with Grier, and I think that Stephen Ross thinks he has a real offensive genius in the building, and he's going to be able to work with Ross to find their next GM and their next quarterback after Tua and actually get some serious runway to be the head coach and run this franchise, because I think the players still respond to him.
I don't think that's a bad take at all. The one thing for McDaniel is I just don't know if it could work in Miami. I think if he was to be fired, and I don't think he's going to get fired. I'm with you. If he wasn't fired here, I don't think he's going. if he does get fired and got an OC job somewhere and was good for 2 years, I think he goes to a lower pressure situation and then absolutely gets a job elsewhere. So I think either way he's going to be fine, but maybe they do make this work here in Miami.
All right, real quick Sunday Night Football pick.
I'll take the Chargers, but I don't love it. I think the Chargers probably win the game. Close game, though. I think Aaron Rodgers shows up on primetime tonight, but the Herbert's the better player. I think his legs are the difference in this game.
Yep, I'll agree with you. Let's wrap it up. Week 10 recap. It was a long one. Thanks for sticking with us. Started it early. Knew we wanted to hit on a lot. We'll see you next week on the recap. Thanks again for watching and enjoy Sunday Night Football.